I used to feel like I was somebody, you know. And, why shouldn't I have? I was tall, I was powerful, I was awe-inspiring, I was absolutely amazing. Yeah, truly someone you could look up to, a real king. But then, I saw it. Jurassic Park, 1993. One of the most influential science fiction films of all time. And I found myself wondering, is that what a Brachiosaurus is meant to be? Is that what I'm meant to be? And if it is what I was meant to be, then how could I compare? How could I compete with that? Fact of the matter is, you can't. I found I lost the lust for life I previously had. All I wanted to do was stay in bed and sleep. Because if I'm not a Brachiosaurus, then what am I? Part of me feels like I wasn't meant to know.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Killer Shrew Fans Killer Toy Reviews. Now, if that little intro video was any indication for you, then of course you will know that today's review is going to be of this guy, the massive original 1993 Schleich Brachiosaurus. Oops! We are not off to a good start here, are we? This video goes out to Just Jake for Life, who has requested several Schleich figures to be reviewed on our channel, and this is the only one that we are able to do at the time, so we figured better get it done for you. So, where do we begin? As you can see, this figure is definitely pushing the limits of our frames. Don't worry, we promise we're gonna show you all there is to see with this figure, even though there's not a lot of good to see. So without further ado, let's get this over with. Let's do this! So for the head of this Brachiosaurus, it certainly looks as if someone is cooking something and they have burnt it, because he has got quite the unsavory look on his face. He is baring his teeth, which have been individually sculpted in that mouth between the upper and lower lips, and they have been individually painted. He's got a nice big orange eye, but everything about this Brach's head looks wrong. Even that signature sagittal keel is off, and yeah, it's just got the doofiest look. Going down the neck, as you can see, the wrinklage has been sculpted in here. Some areas it does work, but in other areas it looks like dried, caked on mud. I mean, it doesn't look like a natural, organic looking piece of flesh in front of you. It doesn't look like this is a lived-in body. It looks like someone rolled it around in mud and then let it dry for a bit. Like I said, it does work in some areas, but not all the time. Once we get to the midsection, you have got a scapula, well defined there, some lovely wrinkles down around the gut. I do like those sculptural details. I mean, if you've seen any of my other review videos, then you know I am a big fan of that. Then back towards the tail there, you've got a sense of the pelvis, and some lovely wrinkles around the back thigh there. And we go down the tail, which is pretty short and thin on this Brachiosaurus, and it comes to a flick curling out towards the creature's left side. And yes, the texturing, the muddy texture, does continue all the way down to the end of that tail. If we go back up the opposite side, you can see that it's really the same story here as far as texture goes. Nothing too incredible. Once we get up to the Back leg, again, you've got some more bunching up of the skin. The thigh there, you can see some of the musculature, and you're getting a better look at the type of skin texturation. Like I said, it does work somewhere, and upon closer inspection, I do think it's better, but from a distance, it just reads really, really off. The neck has a lovely tendon of muscle on each side, and it cranes up nice and far, and then we just get back up to that incredibly doofy head, and I just don't know what to say about it. I really don't. This is a goofy model, even by Schleich standards. Now, the legs are sculpted, the front arms are longer than the back legs, so at least they got that element right, and they are incredibly pillar-like and feature some lovely wrinklage around the ankles and the elbow, you know, place where you'd expect the skin to bunch up and sag. So, I guess, good job. I don't know. I mean, you did something. Now, interestingly enough, they did sculpt the appropriate number of claws on the front leg, or they've got the signature thumb claw really pointing out, but they did paint on the additional toe claws rather than just leaving them fused. They got the shape right, but they did go ahead and paint on those extra nails, which is bizarre. Going up the legs, you can get a better idea of this sort of texturing and wrinkles and musculature sculpted in here. Like I said, very pillar-like, very elephantine in nature. So these legs do have a nice vibe to them. And here at the midsection, you can see the scapula underneath. On the back legs, again, they have the appropriate number of toe claws jutting forward. As you can see, it's kind of got that crescent moon shape. But again, they painted on the elephant-like nails on the last two digits, which, you know, it should have just been fused together in a hoof-like shape. But going up, you can see the wrinkles around the ankle, the stomach wrinkles there as the skin is pulled away from the midsection, which is a lovely sculptural detail. And here the other side will give you a better look at those legs as well. Yeah, it's not bad. These legs aren't bad, but and I do love the sculptural details of the sagging skin around the midsection there. But, you know, I mean, the whole thing is just goofy and boring. I mean, the pose is just so uninspired. It's just standing there, neck craned up. It looks like it's standing stock still, and then its tail is even dragging. I mean, this is unacceptable even by Schleich standards. And then the coloration, they took a boring sculpture and gave it an even more boring coloration. I mean, it's brown with shades of a sort of bruised purple color to really accentuate and bring out the musculature and highlight shadow areas. And I mean, it works, but it is just such a boring and mundane paint job. What can I say about this figure that's good? You know, I mean, I don't know. Is it, you know, I mean, I guess it's big. If you like big sauropod toys, then yeah, this thing is definitely big. I think its size is right up there with the Brachiosaurus, but beyond that, it's just goofy. Look at that face! It's like it's getting a procedure or something. Like, oh my gosh, like someone tell this thing that life isn't all that bad. Now, I did say this was a big figure, but just how big? Well, we're going to bring in our trusty dusty tape measure here and find out. So from the tip of the tail all the way to the front of the snout, you're looking at right around 17.5 inches long in terms of the length. And then from the base here all the way to the highest point, you're looking at right past a foot, 12 inches off the ground, about 12.5 inches from the base all the way to the highest point, which in this guy's case is the head. So yes, a very large figure, and the rubber plastic is incredibly solid. It's very hefty too. For size comparison, I kind of snarfed this up. I'm away from most of my collection, so I can't compare it to anything interesting, really. So, I guess to start off, I'm just going to bring in Schleich's later retooling of this large sculpt, and as you can see, yes, they're the same sculpt, different sizes and paint jobs. So if you have that version, which is fairly common, hopefully you can get a better idea of the size you can expect from this older 1993 version. Next up for size comparison, I'm going to go ahead and bring in the Carnegie Brachiosaurus, and as you can see, the Carnegie Brach towers above this Schleich. Well, it doesn't tower, but it is bigger than this Schleich model here. I'm going to see if I can't find a way to fit them both in frame for you. Just give me a second here. Okay, yeah, we're kind of pushing the boundaries of our review space, but yes, the Carnegie version is bigger, and it was also produced 5 years earlier, and I mean, just look at how much better that is than what Schleich gave us. I mean, if you're going to try and track down one of these two sculptures, I highly encourage you to find the Carnegie version rather than the Schleich version. It's just much more accurate to what a Brachiosaurus is. Well, everyone, that is going to do it for our look at the Schleich Brachiosaurus original model, and I don't know what to say about this model. I mean, this frame here just says it all. Look at that face. It's like someone cooked something and it smells awful, and he just walked into the room and he just took in a big whiff or something. This is, without a doubt, one of Schleich's worst models, and that is really saying something. I mean, sculpturally speaking, it's hit and miss. Paint job is completely boring. When I say sculpturally speaking, obviously I'm talking about the detail, the overall anatomy, and the shapes are just completely wrong. I mean, just look at that head. The famous Brachiosaurus forehead is completely snarfed up here. This looks closer to Camarasaurus or something. I don't know, but it's not Brachiosaurus. So everything considered, I'm going to go ahead and give this model a 2 out of 10. Our lowest rating, I think, so far on Killer Shrew Fans Killer Toy Reviews. You know what? No, I'm going to up it to 3 out of 10. I'll be a little generous here. Its size compared and its heft do make it something that I would consider saying is kind of cool to have, but really that is the only way I would recommend picking this figure up. You'd be better off tracking down the Carnegie or the Papo edition. As always, I'd love to hear what you guys think of this model. Do you own it? Are you going to look for it now? Just any thoughts you may have on this thing in general, leave them in the comments section below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed our video today, don't be afraid to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe on your way out. That is gonna do it for Killer Shrew Fans Killer Toy Reviews. Thank you guys so much again, and Killer Shrew Fan out.